I gotta kind of shield the lens from the rain, but welcome to my shop. My name's Alan, and this is Dragonwood Design Studios. It's a standard two-car garage that we more or less converted into a rather small shop, but it's pretty packed and everything's on wheels, so adjustments can be made. Start off over here. This is the Orion 50-watt laser that I got a while back and found out real quick 50 watts just doesn't cut it. So I went ahead and I upgraded it to the 100-watt Recce tube, which is a higher quality and longer lasting, and it has a 2-year warranty. This is the Axiom Pro 8 CNC. It's 24 inches by 48 inch cutting area. Really nice machine. Also works out real good as a storage of stuff. So, got here our workbench I made out of an old door and a sheet of plywood, and it's on wheels. And I can also turn this around long ways, and it fits right up against the back of the saw stop as the outfeed table, and that works real well. This here, the saw stop, I just can't say enough about it. So you got to get your hands on one of these. Talk about smooth, quiet, powerful. The fit and finish is beyond compare. That's a standard Delta. It's got a 6-inch throw on the quill, which is a benefit when it comes to making pens. And the smaller drills, just a 2 or 3 inch throw. Just not going to cut it. And here we've got our, I believe it's a Turncrafter Commander. I got it from Penn State Industries. And this one's got a duplicating attachment hooked up to it. And those are a couple of chess pieces, a king and a queen, I believe. Which, that'll be sweet when that gets done. These are the couple that I did here a little bit ago, and blanks for more. Let's see here. The tool walls. Up here we've got all of the CNC bits, a couple of routers, paint sprayer, and that's an airbrush behind the Makita. Plenty of rubber gloves, no less than 4 drill drivers, and a flashlight. And those chisels in the back are Harbor Freight, and good for if you don't care what happens to your chisel. 2-inch sanding disc, all of the stuff and supplies for the pens and for the chess pieces. It's a coping sled for the router table, which is kind of buried there, but that's a nice deal. This is the sharpening station for the lathe, and it's got the full Wolverine setup on there and a couple other things. Plenty of diamond hones, Japanese water stones down there on the bottom. Sanding sucker for the back of the lathe. And that vacuum cleaner hose goes into the clean room in another sander, and that's hooked up to a vacuum down here under the table. Now, this is kind of a neat setup that I kind of put together. It's a power carver on a roll around cart, and all of the Dremel bits and everything that go with it. Just tons of stuff. Yeah, these are new. Little tiny sanding abrasive wheels. They kind of work all right. And let's see here. Well, try to put that in its place, but there's something already there. This is the Laguna Revo 1836 lathe, and like the saw stop, not a lot bad can be said about it. Here's a little more royalty. the Laguna 1412. Employees wash hands before touching royalty, and we're changing the blades on it right now. I believe that's 1 3/4 horse. It runs on 110, which is a lot different than all this other stuff that's 220. So I can roll that out in the driveway. Again, it's all on the mobile bases down there for both the lathe and the bandsaw. And some of the go-to tools. See a DeWalt 779 sliding chop saw. Be sure and see my video on sliding chop saws. And a standard DeWalt 734, 735 planer. We use that a lot. And then we got our hand tools and bits and pieces of stuff like that. Here's all the fasteners and stuff that we use, including brad nails. Those are in there. Got screws over here, got nails back there, nuts and bolts back there, and then a whole cabinet full of other stuff. More tape. An assortment of bandsaw blades, extra air hose, probably every table saw blade there is, including a dado set. Clamps. I do have a couple clamps, but as the rule goes, they're just not enough. I always need more. So there's one way to look at them. And here's more over here. Here are more over here. And then these babies down here. Those are real handy. And these are spring clamps like these right here. A box of those. Let's see here. Fire. We don't take fire very kindly. Some more tools on the wall. No trespassing. No place to put the bodies anymore. We do have guest seating. And a couple hammers. Cleaning equipment. I'm not sure. More stuff. This here's called the finishing room or the clean room. And turn on a couple more lights in here. Trying to save energy. That's the other end of the hose that comes out that's attached to the vacuum cleaner. The shop vac. And that just hooks up to the back of the sander, and there's another one on that side. And this is kind of a girlfriend's favorite tool, turns out. But these are where she does her resin pours and makes a lot of jewelry. I think we've got just about everything that there is to get when it comes to supplies and different colors and all kinds of wonderful things. And that's my craft show load. Those are all my finished products and stuff that goes to craft shows. Keeping in here in the clean. More supplies. That's where we keep all of our resins. Stirring sticks. I'm not sure what that is. Scrap wood. That DVD stand is real handy for putting things down into the pressure pot and stacking them up. The vacuum pump, and there's a small drill press. Turned out it's not strong enough to handle a Forstner bit. And some more supplies of some of the things that she's working on. Now this back here, I don't know what's going up there, but didn't believe that'd stay. I paid $200 for that big load of walnut probably a year and a half ago, and it's now dry and ready to go. We've also got a rather small library of exotic woods, the purple heart, oak, hard maple, mahogany, walnut, padauk back there, and then boxes of littler pieces of different kinds of things. Like here's a padauk, I think. Where's it? Yep, African padauk. And samples of like whatever Shadua is. I don't know. Haven't worked with it. Plenty of pen blanks. It's probably 200-300 of them back there. Gluing supplies, clamps, spray paint, other kind of paint, other finishes. There's sandpaper library. And I got more supplies up here, like wax paper, parchment paper, transfer paper for the CNC. Got some more of that. It's bright yellow and lots. There we go. This stuff here, Oric, I think it's called, or Oracal. I'm sorry. And a few sheets of colored plexiglass for the laser printer. I've got blue leather back there in those tubes. Let's see. A dowel stock. Oh yeah, lots of dowels. That's where you keep all the little short ones. Oh. Flags for sale. I pulled the bandsaw out, and you can see a little bit better what kind of tools we got to work with. Got a good supply of rubber bands for holding boxes together. These are always a good thing to have when you're metal detector for stuff going through the planer. Got measuring equipment, some wrecking bars. Oh, here's my chisels. Anyhow, I call these scaries because they're scary sharp. They are nice chisels, as I did mention those Harbor Freight ones up there on the wall. I'll worry about that later. And got a few tool rests for various different lathes, and an assortment of tapes. This thing is not supposed to go there. That goes up there. And some equipment for the lathe. And got a good selection of lathe chisels. The more drum sanders and whisker sanders, and I don't know, 3 or 4 tape measures. And all of the pliers are now back. Damn, train are put away. And that pretty much takes care of the tool wall. Yeah, that's chucks for the lathe, and I believe I've already mentioned that other stuff over there. Should do it. And let's see here. This is our shop air, the Husky. A pretty good deal on it. So I think it's a Harbor Freight something or other, but it seems to kick along just fine. And let's see, stands. And oh, here we go. Supplies for the laser cutter. Cleaning supplies and repair supplies, deionized water. Got a another little stand down here. The dovetail machine. I keep all the saw attachments over there and down there. And there's a box full of parts for T-clamps and things like that down there. I'm ashamed to say that's a Harbor Freight set of drill bits. I think it was 12 cents with $17 shipping at the time. And I find that well, the 1.5 inch, that didn't work worth crap, so I ended up, every time I need one, I buy a fairly good one, like this one I believe is a Freud. I don't know if you can see that or not, but so that gets put in the drawer, and then this 1.5 inch here, that gets a spray painted red so that we know not to use it anymore. And see here, making yardsy dice. Let's see, that's this part in here. Those are for Christmas decorations that girlfriend's making. Got to do something about throwing stuff underneath there for a scrap bin. Now, because we're so short on space, at one point we had a pods portable storage in the driveway and $150 a month, and we thought that was pretty great. And then we came up with this idea of a cargo container, which we bought for about $3 grand, and we don't have to pay $150 a month. It's a great place to keep overflow tools. All these are on wheels, and there's a ramp right there that goes down there. A 12-inch disc sander. Got about a 12-inch belt sander, and then there's their industrial disc / belt sander. A little 6-inch bench top joiner, but I did get the one with the carbide spiral cutter bits. Kind of neat. And this is where all of the rest of the overflow goes. Turn on the light. And of course it don't come on. Something get unplugged over there. I don't know, maybe not. In any case, this is our where we store our craft show tables and stands and boxes of things that go with it. And this is more miscellany. There is a skill saw sitting there, extra power supply for the laser, a couple of chainsaws. But this over here, these are the tools that we would normally use. There's hand saws, it's belt sanders, a couple of different jigsaws, demolition saw, power drill. Is that a half sheet sander? No, there's a half sheet sander. It's probably a quarter sheet. Got that at Goodwill and it's broken. So my old saw or old drill from when I was a kid, well, 18, and just things like that. And of course, you got to have a freezer in here. All of this is for all of the battery chargers. And there's 3 of them up there for various different types of things. A little extra extension cord, and storage area for things, and that's pretty much the end of the tour. And replacement sanding belt stuff. Oh, there we go. We got angle grinders, biscuit joiners. I forget what, I think that's just an empty router box, I'm not sure. And that pretty much takes us to the end of the line here. And of course, it's all backed up here by Carl. He's also our night watchman. He stands out and keeps an eye on things. Oh wow, he's got a water leak. Something dripping down, getting in there. Well, I gotta deal with that. Oh well. That's it. That's the shop. And check out our channel and give us a call. See our website.